Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy Robbie, and I'm back with another video. It is currently Friday, the 9th of January. Happy Friday to y'all out there. Hope y'all having a blessed, great day. This is going to be a quick video. This is going to be from Economy Media, and they're going to be asking the question, if AI wipes out jobs, then who's going to buy anything? This is something that I need answered myself, and I'm sure most of you need that answered as well. So we're not going to waste no time. We're going to get straight into it. Make sure you like, sub to the channel, leave a comment, and let's get into this video, y'all. Let's go.
Artificial intelligence is causing job massacres across all industries. In 2025 alone, a staggering 75 million jobs have been lost worldwide.
Artificial intelligence is about to wipe out millions of jobs. One expert says a bloodbath is looming.
According to predictions, AI will replace nearly 40% of all American jobs by 2030, and some experts even cite far more alarming figures.
And my opinion is not only could 50% be replaced, I think it could be more like 80%.
But if millions of unemployed people have no money to buy goods, the economy stagnates.
So then the question becomes, if no one has a job, who the hell is left to buy everything?
This is why experts argue that the implementation of a universal basic income will be inevitable.
And universal basic income will be necessary for a lot of people who lose their jobs.
So, how AI is making universal basic...
So my question with universal basic income is, are you going to be giving people universal basic income to not only afford their expenses, like their necessities, like rent, car insurance, car note? Are you also going to give them disposable funds where they can continue to buy things that they probably don't necessarily need, but still need that money nonetheless to keep the GDP and stuff like that going? Like, what's y'all plan with that is really what the question is for me.
Income inevitable. In recent years, the idea of a universal basic income has gained popularity due to the rapid growth of AI and automation, but this concept is not new. Discussions about the idea of a universal basic income date back at least to the 16th century, when thinkers began proposing mechanisms to ensure a minimum level of subsistence.
It's an idea with an amazing staying power, discussed for centuries, from the founding fathers of the US to today's Silicon Valley tech billionaires.
Throughout the 20th century, the concept took shape through academic debates and experiments in countries such as the US and Canada. More recently, it has been tested through pilot programs in various parts of the world. The current labor disruption caused by AI can be compared to the changes observed during the Industrial Revolution. During that period, the introduction of textile machinery and mechanized production systems generated similar fears about massive job losses. At that time, some jobs disappeared, but others were created, and society eventually adapted through industrialization and the expansion of complementary sectors. However, this outcome is far less likely to occur again. The key difference in the AI era is that automation affects not only manual labor, but also intellectual and cognitive functions that were previously considered safe from technological replacement.
AI.
Well, we should have seen that coming. Like, even in the line of work that I do, it's in customer service and I do talk to consumers, but even we have a tool that we can use to ask it a question and it'll give us an answer. What it does is it scrapes the database of all the information about the company and it compiles it into one clear, concise answer so that you don't have to, get a team lead. I might have said this in the last video I did, but we already have it even in my line of work. So I already know it's only a matter of time before I'm replaced. That's why I'm trying to put my to it to do it to get the hell on. You know what I'm saying? But yeah.
I could eliminate half of all entry-level white-collar jobs in just the next few years.
Data from the McKinsey Global Institute indicate that up to 45% of jobs in the United States could be affected by AI over the next 2 decades. This includes tasks in administration, transportation, professional services, and education. International organizations estimate that nearly 60% of current occupations include automatable tasks, posing significant challenges for the workforce and economic stability. The scale and speed of this phenomenon exceed the changes observed during the Industrial Revolution, as they coincide with wealth concentration and market globalization. The figures show that this is not only about replacing manual labor, but about displacement in highly specialized sectors.
Another thing that I hear a lot of people on the internet spewing, especially people here on YouTube that I even follow, they'll say things like, you'll just need to adapt. You'll need to incorporate AI into your skill set to get certain jobs. Well, what jobs are we talking about? because, as some stated, being an entrepreneur is not for the weak. It's not for everybody. Well, the entrepreneurs provide the jobs, right? Because they themselves can't do all of the necessary work themselves. So to say that everybody can't be entrepreneurs, well, essentially what you're saying is they are going to have to eventually do something because AI is taking your job.
Artificial intelligence will 100% change everyone's job.
Recent studies indicate that AI can perform up to 50% of routine tasks in areas such as data analysis, market research, and legal services. These tasks previously required advanced education and extensive work experience. The result is a labor market in transformation, where workers' ability to adapt quickly is limited by the pace of automation. Young people without work experience are particularly vulnerable. Many of their first jobs are entry-level positions involving repetitive or administrative tasks, precisely those most susceptible to automation.
Yep. Like what I do, I basically just wait for a in my phone, or rather in my headset, and I answer the call, I address the situation, next caller. Like that's really, it's repetitive. It's repetitive keyboard work. So I already know eventually they're going to pull the plug on this. And I'm perfectly fine with that.
The lack of professional experience and networking opportunities limits their ability to access specialized or highly skilled roles.
Half of all entry-level, white-collar jobs could be wiped out by artificial intelligence within 5 years.
This increases the likelihood of prolonged unemployment or underemployment. In addition, traditional training programs and professional internships have declined in some sectors due to automation. This reduces access to the practical experience necessary to enter the labor market. The Bureau of Labor Statistics indicate that youth unemployment among those aged 16 to 24 averages around 9%, compared with 4% for the general population. And automation could widen this gap if specific support policies are not implemented. Given this situation, experts and economists have argued that traditional social protection mechanisms, such as unemployment insurance or training programs, may not be sufficient. This reinforces the need to consider policies such as universal basic income as a structural mechanism to ensure economic stability and social cohesion. Even political figures such as Andrew Yang, candidate in the 2020 U.S. presidential primaries, brought the UBI debate into the public sphere.
My big idea is a freedom dividend of $1,000 a month for every American adult starting at age 18.
Yang says his program is needed because 1 in 3 American jobs is at risk of being eliminated by new technology.
Yang proposed the freedom dividend, a guaranteed basic income of $1,000 per month for all U.S. adults over the age of 18, regardless of employment status. The proposal aimed to mitigate the effects of labor displacement caused by automation and AI.
But where are we getting this money from? I guess that's a stupid question because we know where it's coming from, but what are we really doing here? Like, human beings really have done a number, I swear. Like, all of this to me just seems stupid in a way. I understand as humans, we want to keep ourselves moving, keep ourselves mobile, but or better yet, you know what? I'll let the video play. I'll get to that when we get to the end.
Ensuring a minimum income floor and stabilizing household consumption. Studies associated with Yang's campaign, citing projections from the Roosevelt Institute, indicated that such a UBI could generate up to 2 million new jobs. Additionally, it could increase gross domestic product by up to 13%, equivalent to $2.5 trillion in additional economic activity. The proposed funding relied on the implementation of a 10% value-added tax, generating up to $800 billion annually. However, there is debate regarding the feasibility of this proposal, as such a tax could disproportionately affect middle and lower income populations.
Yang's plan would be paid for by a value-added tax, or a VAT. It's a European-style sales tax on every transaction, including business-to-business ones. But critics warn that a consumption-based tax like a value-added tax could end up hurting the lower and middle classes harder than the rich.
This would be complemented by the consolidation of existing welfare programs. The discussion surrounding the financing of a UBI reflects the magnitude of the challenge. Estimates place the annual cost of Yang's program at $3 trillion, approximately 75% of the U.S. federal budget. Furthermore, experts have emphasized the need to complement UBI with policies focused on lifelong education and workforce retraining. They also highlight the importance of tax systems that capture part of the value generated by automation. At the international level, AI adoption is expected to displace 92 million jobs by 2030, although it may also create employment opportunities in emerging sectors. The implementation of a UBI becomes critical as AI contributes to an increasing concentration of wealth in the hands of technology corporations and owners of automated capital.
And if you give a small group of those people too much power to develop technologies that will affect billions of people's lives, inevitably that is structurally.
You see, the real problem with this whole thing with AI is that it came out of nowhere, and the vast majority of people were not brought up to speed to prepare for something like this. They're saying that, there's going to be job opportunities that incorporate AI. Well, what exactly are y'all doing to make it so that the elderly and people who y'all say still got to go out here and work, how are they to learn this new technology so that they too can benefit and profit and prosper, I should say, with this new technology? Like, I need that answered.
Unsound.
At the same time, a large share of the workforce faces wage stagnation or job losses, exacerbating economic inequality. Recent studies show that the top 1% of the population in the United States controls more than 40% of total wealth. This economic concentration deepens inequality and poses risks to social cohesion, while reducing the purchasing power of the middle and working classes. A UBI would function as a direct redistribution mechanism, ensuring that the benefits derived from technological productivity are shared more equitably. Moreover, it would mitigate the widening gap between rich and poor by guaranteeing a minimum income for everyone, regardless of their position in the labor market. Nevertheless, challenges remain related to work incentives, inflationary pressure, and psychological effects associated with reduced formal employment. Some critics argue that a guaranteed income could alter the motivation to seek employment, but previous studies of pilot programs indicate that reductions in labor participation tend to be minimal when payments do not replace full incomes. A notable example is the state of Alaska, where all citizens receive a dividend of up to $2,000.
And one state has actually passed something virtually identical, which is the petroleum dividend of Alaska. Where everyone in that state gets between $1,000 and $2,000 a year, no questions asked. Doesn't matter, you're working, not working, income doesn't matter.
This positions UBI as a potential structural solution to ensure economic stability and social cohesion. Andrew Yang's proposal during the 2020 presidential campaign demonstrated how a UBI could function as a mechanism to mitigate the effects of labor displacement. In the AI era, UBI is not merely a progressive ideal, but a pragmatic response to structural changes in the labor market.
At Economy Media, your opinion matters to us.
Okay, that's going to be the end of the video, y'all. What I wanted to say while the video was playing, but I was like, let me wait till the video gets done so I can gather my thought. Why not just get rid of rent and paying for food so that the universal base income can actually act as a means to buy not necessarily goods you need, but consumer goods like clothes and video games and things like that? Why are we paying for food and a place to live? It just doesn't make absolutely no sense. There's another video I'm actually going to react to that's kind of in the same vein as this, but I'm gonna save it for that. But yeah, that's gonna be the only option, is universal base income, if you're to keep people buying things. Because if you're essentially saying that AI is going to take all of the jobs, like all the white collar jobs that are left, like mine and many others, yeah, what do you expect people to be doing if there's no jobs? But this again just goes to show that this system was never designed to last this long. It wasn't meant for this. And now there's more and more people entering the system. See, when this first became a thing, jobs and stuff like that, during Henry Ford and John D. Rockefeller's day and age, there was very little participation in something like this, the idea of a job, a 9-to-5. But you have more and more people that have entered into the system by the millions, year over year over year, and you have not done anything to compensate for that. And now you want to make it a thing where, okay, you get this job based on this degree that you have or this skill set that you have to level out the amount of money people are supposed to get. But people still got to have a place to live. They got to have a means to get around. Like I said in my previous video, they'll say things like, oh, if you can't afford to live in a big city, then maybe you shouldn't live there. You should live on the outskirts, live in a suburban area where it's cheaper. Well, there's no damn jobs out there. You have to go work in bigger cities in order to get the opportunities. That's where all the big tech companies go, all the media companies go, all the warehouses and factories and just all the big corporate jobs. They're in the big cities. You know what I'm saying? So you can't tell people, oh, you got to live on the outskirts to live. Then if you do that, now you need a car. Because the suburbs, they don't have they don't have buses and trains. So it's all one big mess. But anyway, y'all get down in the comments. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Like, I like having these conversations because it gives us an opportunity to like really get our thoughts out. And it's always cool to come across like-minded people like myself that just have questions about this system, you know what I'm saying? And what the plan is for humanity. So make sure you like, comment, sub to the channel. It's your boy Robbie, and I'm out.